What's the most dangerous food you've ever eaten? Accidentally ate a poisonous mushroom on vacation when I was 5. I was non-responsive and ended up in the hospital for a couple of days. To clarify, we had gotten a basket full of mushrooms from some friendly locals for dinner. None of them was poisonous except the one I ate. Nobody knew it was poisonous until I didn't react to anything later that night when I was already lying in bed. Hey, me too. I just remember eating the mushroom and then waking up in the hospital. You unlocked fast travel to the hospital. Edit, thanks for the gold. I appreciate it. Edit 2, laughing out loud, I can see that everyone has experienced fast travel one way or another, thanks for the awards and updates. One-time use. Have to unlock it again later. Homeward mushroom. Consumable. Eat to instantly travel to hospital. Small chance of just dying instead. Yeah, exactly. I thought the hospital was a dream at first and tried to take of my 4 and walk away laughing out loud. Laughing out loud, how far did you get? I got out of my room and down the hall until my mother saw me when she was walking to my room. Should have slow-mo dream punched your mum. I swear I burn more calories trying to run in dreams compared to real life. Account of someone eating the destroying angel mushroom and being lucky to have survived. Mushrooms can take a while to hurt you with their poison. I've read there are even ones that can take a week or longer. Scary. I usually assume if I make it 48 hours on something questionable, not just wild edibles, that I'm fine. I've only really messed with easy to identify ones like chicken mushroom, Ledyporus, and pheasant back, Cereoporus squamosus. I'd like to add more easy ones like oysters, chanterelles, and morels. Mushrooms in particular make me nervous though. Some that kill you, you won't even know it right away. Like out of the ground or at like a place? On vacation, we got a pan full of mushrooms from some friendly locals for dinner. All of them were fine except the one I ate. Mushroom roulette. I was much dumber than that. I picked mine off the ground. We eat mushrooms on pizza all the time. What's the difference, right? Went on a study abroad to India. Our group went to a reception dinner at a local school, where the cooks had made a special northern delicacy for us. It was a very yummy goat curry, and as I'm happily munching away, wiping my eyes every few minutes because it's super spicy, of course, I crunch into something. My throat immediately closed up and I'm fairly certain my face turned purple. It felt like I'd been doused in napalm, and also an elephant sat on me. A friend sitting next to me is looking at me like, dude, are you okay? What do we do? And I'm just there trying to figure out how to breathe again. I don't want to offend anyone by spitting it out, so I just swallow it and immediately regret every decision that had brought me to that moment. I managed to get hold of the bowl of fresh mango they'd been passing around and just shoved a piece in my mouth and prayed. Then I look around me and see that even the local folks are pulling these ugly little peppers out of their mouths without biting into them, just setting them to the side. Turns out it was a ghost pepper curry and I, an asthmatic, chomped right into one without realizing it was there, and it was so freaking spicy it triggered an immediate asthma attack. And I was so anxious and socially awkward that I just powered through it by sucking on a piece of mango until the tears had stopped enough for me to excuse myself to go find my bag and get my inhaler. So yeah. Asthmatics beware, locally grown Indian ghost peppers will getcha. Turns out, I'm allergic to apples. Are you a doctor? Well, hopefully not an elementary school teacher. A is for anaphylaxis. B is for Benadryl. C is for constricted airways. What about when they're cooked? I know some people are only allergic to raw apples due to an enzyme that they have that only exists while raw but that breaks down when cooked. Oral allergy syndrome. No one believes that you can be allergic to apples. Edit. I'm really happy that I was able to inform some people about themselves. I only found out what it was called when I was in my early 20s, and it was so satisfying to finally have a name to put with it. Yes, I have this and react to so many kinds of raw fruit, but not always and not when it's cooked. Frozen is iffy. If that doesn't sound like some fake made-up bullcrap, I don't know what does. Every time I go to the dentist or whatever and they ask about allergies, I have to try and explain it to them. They're just like, I need the actual fruits you're allergic to. I can't put that all on the form, so I just tell them cherries because that's the only test that came back positive, although my allergist told me that happens a lot with OSH because the test fruit is processed and you need to test with raw fruit to get an accurate result, but I'm too poor to buy that much fruit for the test. It's extra confusing for people when they see me eating one of the fruits I've said I'm allergic to, but my allergist said it was fine to try a bite, wait 5 minutes, and keep eating if I don't react, since the level of proteins that I react to vary between each individual fruit. I've been accused of faking a lot of times, but I've got a just-in-case EpiPen now, so showing them that usually convinces them it's real. Only then, they get all concerned that I'm risking my life for a peach. Frustrating how people can't trust that I know my own condition and how to handle it better than they do. My kid has OSH too. She reacts to certain apples, but not others, which sounds totally crazy. It's such a weird one. She can't have peaches, which gives her the SANS. Same. Didn't used to be, but am now. It sucks. I love apples. Methylsulfonylmethane, or MSM. It's a dietary supplement that some people take to treat joint issues. My father-in-law was taking it and wanted me to try it because it has a very peculiar taste. He gave me a spoon that probably only had 1/8-1/4 teaspoon of the powder on it. I took it, tasted it, it was very bitter, and swallowed. Within a few minutes my throat began to swell, I had some tightness to my chest and some wheezing plus some hives a while later. I had started into anaphylaxis. Luckily, it didn't proceed too far. That's how I discovered I was allergic to sulfur and/or sulfur compounds. It's also what I joke about with my father-in-law, the time he tried to kill me for marrying his daughter. I'm hearing more and more people with sulfur allergies. Which is weird to me, all my meds are sulfide, laughing out loud. Always crazy to find what helps yourself can literally kill other people. I once got a concerning abscess on my thigh. I was around 23 at the time. Not having insurance, my friend who had recently had a staph infection and didn't finish his antibiotics gave me the rest of his. I took one. Throat tightened, but not too bad, but I got the worst headache I've ever had in my life and my neck felt like it was in a vice grip, like it was being crushed. I got extremely tired, like I felt like I had been drugged but couldn't fall asleep due to the pain. Was late for work, had extreme nausea, got to work, and explained things to my coworkers. Had to sit in the office for a minute. Started to take another when a coworker walked in to check on me, grabbed my hand, and asked what I was taking. Told her antibiotics. She grabs the bottle and tells me some people are allergic to sulfur-based antibiotics. I call my mom to ask her if I am allergic. She tells me yes. Duh, you're an idiot. She's never informed me of this in my life, ever. So that's how I found out, and how my mom and future boyfriend tried to murder me. Just for your information to anyone reading this regarding antibiotics. What's happened is in the past, not trying to throw shade, you shouldn't take antibiotics unless they're prescribed to you, even if there's no insurance, sorry. You have to be certain that the antibiotics will be effective against the bacteria causing the problem. If it isn't bacterial, then it won't work, full stop. However, an infected abscess could be bacterial, however you can't be sure. You have to take enough to kill the bacteria, and the dosage can vary among people. There could also be contraindications you're unaware of. You should always finish a course of antibiotics, even if you feel better. It's like having asymptomatic COVID, the bacteria can still be there and will multiply again. By not ensuring they're all gone, there's the risk that a strain evolves which becomes resistant to the antibiotics. Since there's trace amounts still in your system, it's not enough to kill them, so they develop an immune response to it. Antibiotics aren't a panacea, and their overuse is a risk to us and livestock if we keep using significant amounts, especially livestock being routinely dosed. That's a very bad practice. Chicken a friend of mine made. She thought if you can eat a steak medium rare, it would be fine to marinate chicken, call it a chicken steak, and eat it medium rare. How old is your friend? I think she was 21 or 22. The chicken incident was a few years ago. And it was not the first time she was oblivious to well-known cooking rules. When my dad was in his teens, he was camping and cooked chicken. Well, he didn't cook it fully and he said he was peeing out of his butt for 3 days. Jesus effing Christ, how did she manage to stay alive? Sounds like your friend's brain might be medium rare. The amount of times I've almost choked to death on an extra cheesy mozzarella stick is ridiculous. My brother had a cheese stick get caught in his throat as a teenager. He reached in, pulled it out, dipped it in marinara, and re-ate it. I remember it to this day some 17 years later. I used to eat sunflower seeds whole, shell and everything. Sometimes the shell would get stuck in my throat and I thought I was going to die. Bananas. Apparently, I'm allergic to them and didn't know for the first 28 years of my life. My daughter was describing how bananas make her throat itchy, and that's when my wife told me that wasn't normal. Still love them, I'm just a bit more careful as to how many I consume. Found out I had a mild allergy to bananas when I was in my mid-20s. Made a comment to my boyfriend, now hubby, how it was weird that bananas made the roof of your mouth itch when you eat them. He was like, WTF are you talking about? So yeah, that was an odd realization. Edit wow, my first award. Thank you. My cousin is the same way. Banana makes her mouth and tongue itch and the whole family has tried to convince her that she's allergic, but she keeps insisting that she can't be allergic to bananas because she eats them all the time. Oral allergy syndrome. Basically, it's a mild reaction in your mouth, since the fruit is distantly related to something else you're actually allergic to, but not bad enough to stop you eating it or cause any problems. I get it with bananas, tomatoes, oranges, and a handful of other things. The actual allergies I have are hay fever, especially Timothy hay. Fried rattlesnake. The guy didn't tell me it was still filled with dozens of tiny ribs which lodged in the back of my mouth. I had to reach in with my hand and pull them out before I felt safe to breathe again. Edit, it was lightly flavored and flaky like fish. I'd eat it again. I feel like that would have been an important thing to mention. After I finished, I looked at him in disbelief when he said, "Oh, I suppose I should have mentioned that." Whatever, the guy tried to do something nice. I took it for what it was. The last piece of my wife's fancy sea salt chocolate bar. I know exactly the chocolate bar of which you speak. It's rumble time over that last piece. Once I had an expensive bar of chocolate that I was eating as my only non-fruit, vegetable, whole grain, low-fat dairy, legume dietary item, which I hid, and someone found it and ate the entire thing when I was halfway through it. To this day, I have never been able to obtain another bar of such fine chocolate. It was a gift from my relative in Europe, posted thousands of miles to me through customs and sent with a letter telling me about the place it was from. You mean your widow's chocolate bar? Gyromitra esculent. Poisonous mushroom that can be lethal if not parboiled correctly, but I trust my mom. She makes amazing mushroom sauce from them. One of the best thing I've eaten. What I don't understand is how people figured this out. Oh crap, Gary ate that mushroom and died. Yeah, but what if we boil it first? All we have to eat is these mushrooms that killed Gary, but if we don't find something else, we'll starve. I mean, crap, did we try boiling them? These boiled mushrooms are great, but I am just beat from a hard day of foraging and not dying. I bet it'll be fine if I just eat these as is. That's not the only thing. Those things need to be boiled 3 times before they're perfectly safe to eat. Apparently, this was a thing that hunter-gathering, don't quote me on this, people in dire need of food would do to discover how edible certain foods were. They'd at first cook and prepare the food in as many ways as possible, and then one by one remove a step from the process to see if the food was still edible. I want to know how Icelanders figured out how fermenting shark meat can be edible. YouTube link. Have you ever checked the back of your fridge when hungry and just eaten whatever you found? Exactly that. You have not eaten until you ate a dead mouse, dust balls, and a few magnets that made it back there. I always think of how far we've come from accidentally dying all the time. Fermented shark. The taste itself was enough to make my stomach quiver, but worse were the flavor burps that lasted for 2 days that no amount of toothpaste/mouthwash could destroy. Original poster replies. Holy crap. That must have sucked. Hakarl, Icelandic pronunciation. Hakarl, an abbreviation of Kestur Hakarl, referred to as fermented shark in English, is a national dish of Iceland consisting of a Greenland shark or other sleeper shark that has been cured with a particular fermentation process and hung to dry for 4 to 5 months. It has a strong ammonia-rich smell and fishy taste, making Hakarl an acquired taste. Now you know. Korea ferments the skate fish. It's called honjeo. One piece coats your whole mouth with cat piss vapors, instantly. Ah yes, the fish that pees through its skin. Why wouldn't people want to ferment and eat it? Pineapple. Apparently, it's not supposed to make your throat itchy. One Saturday I sliced up a pineapple and my wife and I sat down to watch some TV and we mindlessly ended up eating the entire thing. We soon after started experiencing some pretty bad tongue pain. Like being stabbed by thousands of tiny needles in your tongue. Now we don't binge eat pineapple anymore. When you eat pineapple, the pineapple eats you back. Fresh pineapple has enzymes that break down human tissue. The canned pineapple doesn't, because the canning process denatured the enzyme. Street food from a cart in Bangladesh. Shelled hard-boiled eggs held in sun at 35 Celsius degree heat and all the creatures you could imagine. To offend host or commit to 3 days of gastrofun. When my mum and sister were planning on an extended trip to India, my mum made them follow quite a strict plan of pro/prebiotics and supplements, etc. for about 6 months before they went. My sister thought it was over the top until she saw what Delhi Belly did to other Westerners who were also there on extended trips. Apparently nothing makes you appreciate an overcautious mother quite like witnessing a sunburned crying Canadian couple squirt liquid crap all over a packed train car. My mum worked with someone who got gastroenteritis from a street-cooked chicken in Delhi. He had it for 3 weeks. It then got to the point where he had to come home because it just wasn't going away. He was in his mid-40s, so it wasn't something you can just sort of shrug off. Anyway, he got home and the long-term effects meant his gut bacteria were essentially fried. If I recall correctly, this was years ago. He ended up getting sepsis, or something similar, and never really recovered from it. This was a good 10 to 15 years ago, so it's probably already killed him. I had dysentery earlier that year. Shout out to Oregon Trail. 22 pounds in 2 weeks. Was lighter than I was as a freshman in high school. Definitely had friends that had lingering effects. Was told Bangladesh was the gastrointestinal disorder capital of the world. I've been there for work. Customer took me to a joint, if you can imagine a joint in Dhaka, and as soon as I saw all the filth at the restaurant, I told them I'm here to work, not to get sick. I'll eat something when I arrive at the hotel at night. Also got massive food poisoning in Vietnam after a business lunch. Fortunately, it was on the last day, and only had to endure 19 hours of flights to get home. But boy, no disease touched me for years. Locals eat the same food in the same environment all their lives and built up tolerance for them. Foreigners without such tolerance can get seriously sick from eating them. My uncle went back to Vietnam and got food poisoning from eating food that he used to enjoy many years ago. I too ate from some pretty sketchy places when I was a kid in Vietnam. Pretty sure, I will get sick if I go back there to eat now after living many years in the US. I've been in Dhaka for 2 years, and I have managed to avoid the street food. Stories like this make me less wistful about trying it. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.